So we're here at the Folsom Renaissance Fair. We used to go here occasionally, but not since the pandemic. So this is our first time back since the pandemic. And so we're here just to have a good time. I'm dressed up. Ross is a time traveler here. And it's just a lot of fun to see people dressed up, watch some of the shows. So we'll be recording some of those. There's a joust that happens. And apparently Queen Elizabeth I will be coming through at around 11:30. So we're looking forward to that. So stick with us and we'll have more to share.
Here I am, in defiance, wearing my Star Trek pin, and I'm looking at fine, sharp, pointy things.
Can't beat us.
What did he do?
Audrey, come here.
Make ye way for her majesty! Company of foot! 3 hearty cheers for her majesty! Hip, hip! Huzzah! 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 God save the Queen!
My lord. It goes on and on. It goes on and on.
Okay, here we have Tina. Tina's ready to try some Time authentic food, an actual sausage roll.
I ordered a sausage roll. They had Scotch eggs, they had meat pies. Sausage roll is the one thing I haven't tried, and I don't have high expectations. So there was nothing to dip it in. I think some people had mentioned there are different things, like maybe it was even HP sauce, I can't remember, that you can pour on these, but I just have a dry one. So we'll see how this is.
Could you identify Excalibur on site? No.
So what do you think?
Right now I'm really only getting the outside part.
Gross?
Very flaky.
How about now?
It's not too bad. I think it could benefit from having something to dip it in, which I think is probably more what you would do with it. I don't know, but I just had to give it a try since I haven't tried a sausage roll. Not something we see very often here. We don't have high expectations for fair food, but it's just something to keep the hunger away, and I thought, well, why not try the little British stand? I almost got a Scotch egg because I like the other one we tried, but well, let's try something new. Yeah. I mean, it's all right. I keep smelling, they have garlic fries here too, and I keep smelling garlic, which is making me really crave garlic fries. But the serving was huge. I did not want to deal with that. I mean, this is good actually if you want to like walk around the fair and eat. We feel fortunate. We found a shady spot. It's pretty warm here today, so I'm just happy to get off my feet and have a little something to eat. Ross is having his very authentic Dr. Pepper. But yeah, so let us know more about the sausage rolls that you have. Someday, maybe if we get to the UK, we'll be able to try a real sausage roll. I think, is it Greg's that has sausage rolls?
Yes.
That chain over in the UK. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to finish this up. So we are back from the Renaissance Fair. We didn't stay as long as we had hoped. It was incredibly hot and probably 94, 95 degrees. And even though it's officially fall, I'm so tired of summer because it still feels like summer. And
Agreed.
And I shouldn't complain too much. I mean, it is hot being in a costume, but those poor guys that are in their suits of armor, I don't know how they do it. I really don't, because that's got to be so hot. And a lot of people are dressing in multiple layers and things like that. They must really be dying. So yeah, it was really hot at the joust. We had hoped to stay a little longer after that, but we were in the sun.
Yeah.
Sweating away, and we wanted to go back and try the Scotch eggs, and we went back, and the line was so long, all in the sun, and then there's probably no place to sit once you got it. So yeah, we were a little bit curious to try it because we saw somebody that got one, and it did look like the coating was a little thicker, didn't it?
It looked fantastic.
Yeah. And I have to say, I don't normally get this large of a drink. We went by the Carl's Jr. drive-thru on the way home because we were so thirsty. That bottle of water didn't cut it for me. I was really thirsty, and so was Ross. So we got these big tankards to bring home with us.
Yeah, but what was your high point?
My high point, I love seeing the little parade procession where the Queen comes through. And I don't know if we even talked that much about Renaissance fairs because we're not sure if they're even a thing anywhere besides the U.S., but they do hold them, especially in the fall time, across the U.S. Some are smaller, like I think the one in Folsom's a little bit on the small side. It's getting very crowded, I've noticed. That was also the thing in the afternoon. It felt very crowded. But there's a big one over in the Bay Area. Other parts of the country, and people like to come and they try to do things from the Elizabethan period. So people try to dress up from that time period. They have some groups called guilds that are very into this, that do the really elaborate costumes. And I don't know that we heard that many of them speak, but a lot of them do try to put on an accent. I met somebody who was in a guild, and one of the things that they told me is that they have to hand make all their costumes. So they're not allowed to use sewing machines. They're supposed to make it using what you would have had back in the day. So they are hand stitching those beautiful costumes. So that's just a lot of work that goes into those. Yeah, so it's just kind of fun. They have shows going on all around the fair. We watched that little parrot show, and even the parrots weren't behaving either. You can't blame them because even though they were in the shade, it was still really warm. So
yeah, there was a handler with, was it two parrots? Macaw?
2 macaws, yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't doing their tricks very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and, people playing musical instruments, traditional instruments, so it's kind of fun. So,
Right.
yeah, let us know, is this even a thing in any other part of the world, or is it just the U.S. that does these crazy things? The other one we've been to is the Dickens Fair, which happens around Christmas, and that's kind of same idea, except that it's indoors, and they make it supposed to look like London back during Dickens' time. So it's kind of based, they have characters there from A Christmas Carol, and yeah.
Yeah, everyone looks very Dickensy. Yeah, they're getting back to the Ren Fair. Okay. Wow, there were a lot of elves. Saw a lot of people with little pointy ears, a lot of people with little fairy wings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see all kinds there. Every once in a while you see a Star Wars Jedi show up. And we saw from Back to the Future, Marty McFly. We saw Marty McFly with his hoverboard.
Yeah, we saw an older gentleman wearing a McFly outfit, and he had his little hoverboard, cap, everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes the costumes are interesting.
They are interesting. Anything from like a party store costume to these very elaborate costumes where people have done a lot of historical research. I just put mine together. It seemed like every time I go to the fair, I grab new pieces for it, just as a basic peasant type costume. In fact, I'm sure this bodice is too fancy for a peasant, really. It's a nice brocaded vest, so I'm sure a peasant probably would not be wearing something like that. But yeah, just for fun.
Right. Yeah, I like what you said about these strict guidelines for these guilds. If you're going to wear something, it has to be handmade, period accurate. And then the time before last, we get there and here's a vendor selling mead. Look behind the counter. It's $2 chuck and honey syrup. That doesn't sound like... Okay, you got bottles of white wine from Trader Joe's and you got honey syrup. She has to dress up in some outfit that she handmade, but you can go down...
Well, that's better than the Bud Light that they were serving on the other vendor stations. So.
There's that. And also, that's
and
the other
Chinese
thing.
food.
You beat me to it. Every time we have gone to Ren Fairs together, we have seen the same basic menu items. They have Chinese food, gyros, big turkey leg,
garlic fries,
small bucket of fries, curly fries, garlic fries.
They seem to be, I think it's the same vendors that go around to these fairs. And so we decided to stop in the one that was the most British looking.
Yeah.
Which we hadn't done. So that's where I have my sausage roll. But you don't have high expectations for the fair food, but...
Yeah, just like we're having high expectations to watch the jousting, but the kids around us were constantly talking and screaming, I want to see him die. I want to see someone die. Shut up.
Yeah, I think they were sort of on a field trip. I mean, they were with their parents, but I noticed they had little booklets to fill out that they were supposed to be... It's supposed to be a learning experience for them, I'm sure, about the time period.
Yeah. Did you get your 5 adjectives yet? How about talkative and distracting? Yeah. But
we didn't have the best seating, unfortunately. We tried to get there really early and get a shady spot. It did not work out. There was hardly any shade. So
there was hardly any shade.
Yeah.
It was very hot.
And we couldn't hear the announcing either.
Couldn't hear the announcing. There's these kids nonstop talking.
And I was afraid I was going to drop something or fall through the stadium seating.
Yeah. So you had me hold your Ren purse.
Yes.
I looked very manly holding your Ren purse, which I did not going to complain about. I was perfectly fine. I understand your concern. Yeah.
And you were regretting wearing all black, I think.
Yeah.
All that sun.
That was.
Yeah.
But kudos to you. Thank you for suggesting sunscreen.
Yes. So
we did have that. We did come somewhat prepared. We should have brought some water bottles with us, but
yeah. Because the nice thing was they did have stations where you could just buy water. You didn't have to stand in. All the food lines were very long. The later it got in the day, it seemed like they just got longer and longer, and then they never have enough seating. So you have your food and you're carrying it around. That's the one thing I'll have to say for the sausage roll. Like if you go there and you don't have a place to sit, the way those sausage rolls were, it'd be easy to walk around and eat that. Although for me, I kind of like to sit down and enjoy my meal.
Same here.
But yeah, sometimes it's a challenge.
Can't do that when you get the Chinese food plate, which we've
Right.
had a few times, and surprisingly, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't, yeah.
So,
I had the Euro one time too, the Euro wrap, and it was good. That was what I was almost going to get today, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to try a sausage roll, because how often do we see sausage rolls? So.
well, that's the first time I've ever seen Scotch eggs there. Have you seen Scotch eggs there before?
No, I'm trying to, unless we just didn't notice it, because we're always honed in on the Chinese food place. I don't know.
I think I would have remembered
Would you have
that.
noticed? Okay.
Yeah. It just seems so unusual.
Yeah, and the meat pies, they had meat pies also.
Steak and kidney pies.
Steak and kidney pie. Mm-hmm.
That was very tempting.
Yeah.
But then again, like you said, it's a Ren Fair. What's your level of expectation here? But you didn't complain about the sausage roll.
No, I mean, well, that's part of the thing too. I've never had one, so I don't have. Number one, I didn't have high expectations for fair food. I've never had one, so I don't know what a really good one tastes like. I just, as I mentioned earlier, it needed something to dip it in, I think.
Yeah. The other thing, the huge turkey leg. I've never gotten the huge turkey leg.
No, of course you see people walking around with those too, carrying this big turkey leg, but yeah.
Other people, happen to just be visiting from another country and they see the Americans walking around with a huge turkey leg, just gnawing on it like a little chicken leg.
They have those at Disneyland too.
Why am I not surprised? Never had one. I mean, it couldn't help but notice when we're sitting down. Person to the right of me was gnawing on one.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely there's been other trips where I think it was more enjoyable. For example, just we had better seating. When
Yeah.
we saw the jousting, it was cooler.
We've always enjoyed the jousting. It felt like it went for a long time before they even got to the jousting. There was a lot of talking.
Yes.
Talking by the guys on the horses and also the kids.
Yes. Enjoy spending time with you. Thank you.
Yes. And the other thing that I didn't capture a lot of is they have a lot of vendors there selling things. So there's people that go around to fairs and they sell jewelry. And I was disappointed. Often they will have handmade soap that they sell there, which to me seems more authentic than some of the other things. And I didn't see any handmade soap. I either missed it or the person that sells it didn't come. I'm trying to think. I think we did show some of a lot of knives and swords and hair decorations, things to wear with your costume.
Yeah, your typical wares you're going to see. Bunch of swords, daggers, maybe some armor, incense, jewelry,
A lot of jewelry.
a lot of accessories to go with your period outfit. I think I picked up a horn for you one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a little drinking horn. I think they still did have those.
Yeah, they have
Although is that more Viking? I don't even know.
that. I wouldn't even dare to speculate. I would
don't
have to
know.
do some research before answering that. But they sell what kind of look like silver mugs and cups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have like little tankards, and I guess you called it tankard, like a big metal mug, and
Right.
yeah.
And sometimes like food items, like there was I remember a couple times we saw honey, raw honey, but as you also mentioned, handmade soaps. First time I think we've gone to one of those where they didn't have someone selling various smelling handmade soaps.
Yeah.
Even like when we went to the last Dickens fair we went to, I remember you picked up like a sampler of handmade soaps.
Yeah, so that's another thing. I know Dickens Fair, they have a lot of the soaps, candle making. So that's the other thing you'll see too is people doing crafts around there. They'll be doing needlework or handiwork that you can just go by and watch them in their period costume doing those things. So
Yeah, did you see the Harry Potter kids when we were there?
I did not.
Yeah, kids with their wands.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't see any Jedis, but yeah, there was some Harry Potter.
Yeah, like we said, you see a little bit of everything there.
I was the only one wearing a Star Trek pin.
Oh, maybe you just need to look closer.
Fair enough.
So that wraps up our day at the Folsom Renaissance Fair. So we hadn't gone since the pandemic, so it was kind of fun to go back. Just hope next time it'll be a little bit cooler day. I think that would make it a lot more enjoyable.
We'll have to bring hats.
Yeah. I was actually looking for hats and I didn't find one, but
Next time we'll be more prepared.
We will. So if you like this video, it's a little different from our normal food tasting videos, except for my sausage roll sampling. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. We normally are doing food tastings and food reactions. So until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.